Good morning, guys. Where are you going? It's Area Festivals Day. Ooh. Yeah, I'm still turning the horses out because Corporal isn't on till about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So I have got loads of time, enough time to go to work this morning. I'm feeling uber chilled. It just shows how much your brain, I don't know, lies to you. I don't know. Because just because I'm on this afternoon, my nerves are barely existent. And yet, if it had been a lunchtime or this morning, I would have been feeling probably sick as a dog. Why does he do that? Artie has to be the most irritating person ever. So sorry for poor Coop. Yeah, I'm feeling super chilled, which kind of then makes me excited for the competition because I'm not stressing about having nerves. Yeah, we're not on until late this afternoon, so he's going to have a couple of hours out this morning to mooch around, which is going to be good. I think it'll really work for him having late times because it's just good for him to have a leg stretch first. Like I said, I'm going to go to work, get everything done, and then when I get back he can come in for a few hours, rest his grass belly, and then we'll be on our way. I thought I'd just show you these two books because I was just thinking this morning, when I woke up, I wanted to watch. I love anything that kind of talks about the psychology of sport, how other sports people deal with things. I mean, I know it's laughable because there's me doing a tiny little dressage test and there's people going out, you know, who can earn God knows how much money from a sporting competition. But, you know, everyone has their battles and fights, etc. And I just think Matthew Syed, Syed, I think is how you say his name, is just so fascinating. His logic, the way he thinks about how people become successful in sport, the psychology behind it is incredible, and I couldn't recommend these two books enough. It kind of slightly blew my mind. And anyway, there was an interview between him and Nico Rosberg, a Formula One driver. I mean, it was an old interview, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it was just so fascinating, and I find things like that really calming, listening to two people who are both sports people talking about the pressures of sport, talking about how difficult things can be, looking at failure and how that's part of the journey and all that kind of stuff. And things like that I find can really help. Bit of synchronized roll. What are they all doing? I've just come out to get them in. Well, they obviously all fancy to roll at the same time. Wasn't expecting to see that. Yeah, just come finish work, try to eat a sandwich. Last thing I wanted to eat was a sandwich. I would say my nerves have crept in a bit now. They're not bad, but just feel something. And I just thought I'll go and get them in now. It's just under 2 hours before we need to go. So I'll get him in, he can have some chill time in the stable. I think I'm going to leave the others in as well. They're all, well, other than Corporal, Billy and Artie are fat enough that they can afford to stay in for a bit. I've already loaded the lorry. Ready to go. We're having to leave a bit early because traffic looks quite bad. There's lots of midges about, which he's not a fan of. circles. We'd like some grass. I realised I never finished the vlog. Oh, can you see those skies? It is about to pour down. Today was rough, I have to say. I've come away feeling very disappointed and a little bit demoralised. Corporal went really sweetly, which is the main thing. He was on side and he didn't make any big mistakes or anything like that. So from that point of view, it was great. I let him go a lot more sort of stretched out and a little more sort of soft and floaty rather than collected, which I know at medium they're not going to love, the judges. So I wasn't expecting a huge score, but I did think he did a nice test. And 2 of the scores were fine. 2 of the scores were around the 65-66%, but one judge decided she really didn't like us, and there was a 20-mark difference between the 2 other judges and her score. And so I always think those are the hardest to digest, because I think he would have been placed otherwise. But her score, I mean, she had me right down the bottom, whereas the other 2 judges had me kind of like around 8th, I think, around 7th, 8th, around there. So yeah, I felt quite disheartened by that. And it's always hard because you always wonder, like, what did they see that they thought was so bad? Because he really didn't make any mistakes, and I thought he went really nicely, but she obviously really didn't like the test. So yeah, so coming away feeling quite sad and disappointed, but pleased with how he went, which is the most important thing. I can feel raindrops already. I don't know where I go now. I have to say, it left me feeling like I didn't want to do any more dressage now the wind's coming, and that maybe it's time to sort of leave it there. I would like to have left on a good note, I must say. I would like to have finished on a high. I haven't made my mind up entirely, but I certainly feel like I don't want to push him to do medium anymore, and there's no point going out at novice gold because he's never going to beat those swanky young horses. So any leaves with elementary, which is fine, but I don't know. It's one of those days that you kind of just think, oh, not been the best start to this year, and the scores have been disappointing. But you know, you just have to take it with a pinch of salt. You know, some judges are going to like your horse and others aren't, and you're not always going to understand why. I think there's a chance that BD could actually still query it because it was 20 marks difference, but it's not going to make any difference to the score today. So yeah, not coming away overly happy, but I'm happy with Coop, and that's the main thing, and I'm pleased with how he went. I am going to have to go because it is already raining. I need to go muck out again because Artie and Bills have been left in since lunchtime, so they need mucking out. But yeah, not the result I wanted, but hey, moving on. And it may mean that, like I say, that was his last show, and if it was, then he went really sweetly for me, and if not, I might end up doing a few more shows. But yeah, not such a happy day, but hey,